When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. When I go places, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members, who have been robbed for their jewelry, who real killers, like who really real killers. Like if he ever find out who did that, he gonna knock everybody down. You understand what I'm saying? You just caught slipping.
Like Lane, we've been coming to LA since 2004, 2005, and like ain't never check in to nobody.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's just go to their hotel and move militant. You know what I'm saying? When you move around the city, bro, you gotta be careful. And that's just, we dealing with G-Unit. It's had a lot of drama. So just had to move militant. Ain't just going to the mall and just going here with jewelry on and this and that. And you gotta move militant, bro.
The rap game is a crazy place where street politics, gang ties, and power plays were happening right from the days of a certain Suge Knight, who is notorious for shaking down rappers, roughing people up, and taking whatever he wanted. Now fast forward to today, and you got people like Big U, a certified street OG with serious street clout, who continues the tradition of intimidating rappers today.
Movie production in the hood. That's how we do it, you know, man.
Top flight, baby. Security.
GB running this here movie set in the hood.
Come on out here.
Coming out here and checking in with GB, getting his movies done. You better know it. You know what I mean? Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in,
Oh well. Just gonna check your ass out.
we're gonna check you in, all right. We're gonna check in all of your equipment. We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
Big U and his crew have over the years built a reputation that keeps everyone on edge. If you're a rapper looking to enter their territory in LA, you don't want to be playing with these guys. But here's the thing, not every rapper is folding under pressure. Take, for example, Nipsey Hussle, Big U's former protege and one of the most respected voices in hip-hop before his tragic death. Nipsey wasn't just a rapper, he was an entrepreneur, a community activist, and a symbol of hope for a lot of young people growing up in the struggle. But let's not sugarcoat it. He was also deep in that street life. From a young age, Nipsey was tied to the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, one of the most notorious gangs in Los Angeles. And back when he was just getting his feet wet in the music game, one of the people who had his back heavy was Big U.
Everybody know Big U was shaking Nipsey Hussle down, making him pay protection fee, sorta. Everybody know that's Big U and Whack 100 game over there, homie, to protection fee. Nipsey Hussle got smart and say, I don't want to pay you $20,000 a month no more.
But here's where things went left. As Nipsey started growing, not just as an artist, but as a man and a businessman, he began to distance himself from that old school street politics. And part of that meant moving away from Big U's shadow. Now, word on the street is Nipsey didn't just distance himself, he straight up cut the big homie off. And if that wasn't wild enough, he went and collaborated with YG, a known blood member. For someone like Big U, who was old school Crip to the bone, that was the ultimate slap in the face. For everyone else, this was proof Nipsey was one of those who wasn't scared of Big U. So, Big U showed up at the music video scene to cause chaos. Fed up with the way the OG had been moving, Nipsey showed up at a studio where Big U was, and you had the duo throwing hands.
You know what I mean? So that was never a question. Like when I see stuff on about Big U or whatever, it was never a question because I knew how much love you had for bro. I knew that was never a question. Even when they squabbled up and him and Big U squabbled up or whatever, and that was big right then. Like that squabbled up, with Big U, like yeah, niggas squabbled up. You feel me? When Nip did that, that was on some grown man.
So Nip and Big U really did squabble.
Yeah. Okay.
And depending on who you ask, some people say Nipsey got the better of Big U. Just like Nip, another rapper who didn't give a single damn about the likes of Big U when stepping right into their territory, it was Pop Smoke. Now, there's this unspoken rule in the rap game, especially when you're headed to LA, that says you check in. And what that means is, when you're flying into certain cities, especially ones like Los Angeles where gangs hold real weight, you're expected to hit up the local shot callers, the big homies, the OGs, the people who run the streets, and basically let them know you're in town. It's pitched as protection. But a lot of folks will tell you it's just a fancy way of saying extortion. And when it comes to the so-called check-in mafia, Big U's name rings the loudest. Back in 2022, Hassan Campbell went on to the Matt Hoffa podcast and broke down the Pop Smoke murder. According to him, Pop Smoke didn't check in with the right people, didn't bow to the politics, didn't move how they wanted him to move.
You got to check in. On the West Coast, they more disciplined than we are. When you step, they know the hotels, the villas, everywhere you go. Pop Smoke didn't check in, so he got checked out. It's just that simple.
And that's where things got dark for him. Pop Smoke might be gone, but what he left behind is something that most rappers will never get. And that's the respect of standing tall in the face of real pressure. But you know who else was willing to take a step further and say, these OGs? Back in the day, the OG himself, MC Hammer. Yes, MC Hammer. Now, MC Hammer is that guy, and he's the type of man that Suge Knight or Big U would never mess with. And no one would have thought that the same guy who gave us You Can't Touch This with the flashy pants and choreographed dance move would turn out to be one of the few rappers that real gangsters did not mess with. Sounds wild, right? But behind the pop star's glitz was a man with serious street ties and a backbone tougher than half the rappers talking tough today.
You know, Hammer was a big dog, man. He got respect in the streets. He came from a respected crew, and they handled business, him and his brother Lewis and the crew. And, you know, when we saw each other, it was respect and love. And then, you know, when we weren't around each other, he'd take little jabs and talk shit. But it was that type of shit.
Yeah, because I just interviewed MC Search from Third Base.
He tell you some gangster stories on Hammer.
Well, he basically told the whole story about how he feels MC Hammer put a $50,000 hit on him. You know,
I wouldn't agree to that, but I would say without spending any money, Hammer could have told some people to fuck him the fuck up. Like that wouldn't have been. It wouldn't. I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody up. His people would just do it. We from Oakland. Like he wouldn't even have to say it. They just, right. If somebody was making Hammer uncomfortable, without him saying I'm uncomfortable, somebody around him would have came to you and said, quit making Hammer uncomfortable. Right. It would have been like a no negotiable statement.
Right. Yo, even when I said about Hammer, I said, listen to my first album. When I did the skit, and I was like, you know what? That goddamn MC Hammer, him, his mama, and the whole nine. That came up to me on MTV Cribs on the last episode they had where everybody out on, not MTV Cribs, sorry about that, I'm zoned. On the last Dr. Dre and Ed Lover on MTV when they had the last episode.
Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah, Yo MTV Raps. When the last episode they shot, when they had everybody rapping on it, MC Hammer was there. That approached me. He was like, Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you young. But I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me? I said, yes, sir. Because, we was already in Oakland with EPMD, and we damn near had to bounce up out of there for that. Because they had back here, back here, back here. We had to get the out of here. They wasn't playing. We was almost boxed in. And I'm at a young age, too. I'm like, this is not playing. And he seen me at MTV Cribs. He shook my hand. He was like, you're a youngin'. I like what you do, but you just know I don't play nobody talking about my mama. And I was like, you right, man. Now, I wasn't cool. I wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, man, you know what I mean? But I was like, yes, sir, MC Hammer. In other words, I got the message. I heard about you, and I seen your work and with the 357 and all them mother you do. I seen that shit. I'm good, my brother, because I got to come to the West Coast and get money. I like it out there. I like the Bay Area. So, yeah, that. You right. I won't talk about your mama, but...
Behind the flashy, shiny pants and those dance moves was a man that nobody messed with. After wrapping up a show in Los Angeles, Hammer and his crew was headed out when they noticed Michael Concepcion, one of the original founders of the Crips.
We had an event one night up in Hollywood, up on Hollywood Boulevard, and we come out the event and come out the back door to get in the cars and the vans and whatever to go back to our hotel, and my Concepcion was out there.
And the vibe was weird, but no one said anything until Michael called out to Hammer for a word. Now, here's where it gets tricky. See, Michael wasn't just trying to say what's up. He told Hammer straight up, look, since you in LA, things could go left real fast. And if he wanted to be protected, then Hammer needed to hire him.
So we already knew who Mike was or whatever. Guy in a wheelchair, so-called gangster, whatever. We weren't tripping on that. So we come out, and Mike, like, Hammer want to holler at you for a minute. So at first, you know, didn't nobody know really what was going on or whatever. So Hammer's like, what? He said, man, what you talking about, man? He said, man, you got me messed up. He said, what you talking about, bro? He said, man, Mike Concepcion told Hammer, you need to pay me for your protection. So just to let y'all know, the checking in thing ain't just started recently. It's been going on for years. It's been going on for years.
Now, most people in that situation would have just probably folded or nod their head just to get along to avoid a scene, or just, you know, wave their way out, like, you know, but not Hammer. Dude looked Michael straight in the face and said all he had to do was make one phone call and things would be handled. I mean, no threats, no raising his voice, just the facts. And whatever he meant by that was just enough to make Michael back off. And not just back off, but the next morning, Michael rolled right back up there to see Hammer, but this time to apologize.
And this brother did that back in the day. He tried to do it to us, but Hammer and them wasn't going. Hammer wasn't having it. So after you said that, Hammer's big brother Lewis stepped up. It's like, got us, you know, messed up, player. You know what I'm saying? We don't play, but we're from the Bay. And then Hammer said, anyway, he said, I got 12 bodyguards out there. He said, these brothers, right, we ain't playing no jokes, dog. Mike Concepcion had about 6 guys with him, Crips or whatever. They had toolies or whatever. They had their sticks, but it was 12 of us. And a lot of them that was with us, these cats done been to prison before for murder and everything else. That's one of the things I want to say right quick, man, before I go any farther about Hammer, what Hammer did. Hammer loved the brothers in the city, man, and he tried to do a lot to help a lot of people, man. He gave the have and have-nots a job when nobody else would deal with them because they was convicted felons when nobody getting no job. But Hammer always reached back and grabbed his homeboys from the street and gave them jobs. So here we are, right? We having a standoff. Some of them itching to do something. They ready, right? So we off to the side looking, standing back, and Hammer like, all my boys right here from the Bay. The Bay don't play. And so anyway, I can make one phone call, and you know this whole thing will be squashed. So they went back and forth for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Mike tried to stand his ground. Hammer like, hey, it is what it is. What y'all want to do? You know what I'm saying? He said the Bay never raised no punks. He said East 14th, baby. East 14th Street, Oakland. All the people from Oaktown, y'all know what I'm talking about. So after that happened, we started getting our cars ready to leave, pulled off. So whatever happened overnight, the very next day, we at the hotel, once again, the Universal Sheraton, and come downstairs, my Concepcion in the lobby. He down there begging and pleading. Man, hey, man, I need to talk to Hammer, man. Somebody get him down there, man. I want to just talk to him for a minute, man. I need to holler at him, man, whatever. So maybe after about 30 minutes, Hammer finally came down. We was going somewhere. So Hammer, you know, talked to him on the way out. That dude apologized, said he was sorry. He didn't know who Hammer was, and this and that and so on. Once again, I'm gonna say this too. Mike was one of them cats that extorted cats back in the day. He extorted Babyface, Bobby Brown, and Teddy Riley. But he didn't extort us. He had a death wish.
And just like Hammer wasn't checking in with no one, 50 Cent and G-Unit weren't going to flinch either. Matter of fact, in one of his sit-downs with Vlad TV, Tony Yayo was asked straight up if G-Unit ever felt the need to check in with gangs when touching down in LA. And as you'd expect, Yayo didn't mince words. He made it clear, G-Unit never checked in with anybody, even if their name was Big U.
New York niggas don't know nothing about checking.
I know, I'm straight out of New York,
Shout
right?
out to my niggas from New York, because that's a whole nother like lane. We've been coming to LA since 204, 205, and like niggas ain't never check in to nobody.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas just go to their hotel and move militant.
And honestly, it's easy to believe. 50 Cent didn't enter the rap game quietly. He came in swinging, took on half the industry at once, and still walked away on top. He didn't just talk tough in songs, he lived it.
Vest up, all kinds of guns on him, running behind this meeting. You gotta go to studio, we here.
So y'all was
guns,
holding them
man,
down,
holding them
like
down,
really
like,
holding them down, like
opening doors like this was a boss for real, man.
Say that
like
again?
we was holding this down like he was a boss for real, man. Yeah, like something like we was like he was a boss, opening doors, pistols, all that. We was the security. Like,
so let me say,
I don't
50
even,
had the block on lock for a minute?
Yeah, he had that shit on. Man, the whole hood was pumping for 50.
Oh, for
the
real?
The hood. I don't go. Your son cracking 9495. You was pumping for 50.
Wow.
Yeah, he had the whole block pumping. Like after 50 did what he did, like 50 ain't back down. 50 was banging out in the. I know 50 was whooping ass because 50 is a big box in that.
And talking about rappers who walk the walk and talk the talk, our next rapper is the type of guy to keep his cool in the face of a bunch of angry locals. Dressed in blue, trying to start something, we're talking about Waka Flocka. In the year 2020, Waka was out in LA shooting a video with Gucci Mane. Everything was cool until this one guy showed up, started wilding out of nowhere, going off and walking straight up to Waka like he had something to prove. See, apparently there was some old beef between the both of them. And this guy was not happy to see that Waka was there posted up on what he considered his turf. And if you look close, you'll see what colors they were wearing. Blue. So it wasn't hard to guess what gang they were repping and where they were from.
I'm here. I'm here, bro. I'm not studying. I'm Gucci, you cool. We talking about dude. He came with us on.
Now, the atmosphere was clearly tense, and Waka, he had to be held back because he wasn't having it. And he was ready for anything. Some rappers have allegedly died for not checking in, so rest in peace to them. But names like MC Hammer, Nipsey Hussle, 50 Cent, they've shown that they're not scared of anybody, and they're not checking in. And this is another one. So let us know what you think. Leave a comment, like, and share, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace and blessings.